see you back at the MOTORFEST. New challenges unlocked.
There's a particular kind of Ferrari we're going to speak a lot about today. The Ferrari supercars. The car you're about to drive in this opening event is none other than the first Ferrari in the supercar bloodline, the Ferrari GTO.
First supercars that we can define is the GT.
Supercar is a term that refers to milestones in motoring history. All supercars are limited series and the product of Enzo Ferrari's philosophy, aiming to make every new model the best car of its time. That means that every new addition to the lineage is the embodiment of leading-edge research that sets the standard for cars worldwide. You'll drive all the Ferrari supercars on this adventure, but for now, just enjoy the collector's piece that is the Gran Turismo Omologato. Or, like Mr. Pignati Morano said, simply GTO. This car is, in essence, a special version of another iconic Ferrari, the 308 GTS. And, as intended, it is one of the fastest street-legal production cars of its time. Interesting fact from my archives. Three-time racing world champion Niki Lauda owned one of the few GTOs produced. A gift from Enzo Ferrari himself. Beautiful sight. Takes me back to the Legacy Tour Ferrari organized back in 2024. A GTO tribute tour set in the stunning surroundings of the Italian Dolomites. Organized exactly 40 years after Ferrari introduced the supercar at the 1984 Geneva Motor Show. But enough from me. Just listen to the car you're driving. She'll tell you her story herself. Ferrari, my young friend. A world where legends live among us to tell their stories loud and clear. I was delighted with that introduction. You may now head towards the northern part of the bay to make the acquaintance of the next two supercars in our Ferrari lineup. You heard me right. The next event will feature not one, but two cars for you to drive. On one hand, the inspired and inspiring Ferrari F40. And on the other hand, nothing less than a road-legal Formula One, the Ferrari F50. Mr. Pignati Morano will start with a few words, then I'll take over. The Ferrari F40. Enzo Ferrari's ultimate vision.
Everybody recognizes.
F40, second vehicle of the manufacturer to earn the prestigious supercar status, and a car that has shaken the motorsports industry to its core. To celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, this Ferrari, bearing the apropos designation F40, was the last Ferrari automobile personally approved by Enzo Ferrari and made under the supervision of the Commendatore himself. Aggressive car with animalistic behavior and a stripped-down interior befitting its obvious racing heritage. Brutal and uncompromising. A car that has since become the epitome of Ferrari's brand identity. A car that still is in the heart of many, the greatest sports car ever made. Again, at the time, the fastest Ferrari ever created. This is a machine that has a mind of her own. Talk to her, listen to her, find your common ground. You'll get one of the best driving experiences of your life. Like you two had a deep conversation out there. Very well. This is how you make history. I believe that you're now expected at the Hanauma racetrack. But first, let's get there with panache. Another special car is waiting for you. Tried two of the 20th century's most popular Ferraris. But when it comes to beloved machines from the 80s and 90s, there's another red horse that undoubtedly comes to mind. The unmistakable pop culture icon, the Ferrari Testarossa.
When you ask people which is one of the most iconic
The Ferrari Testarossa was quite the celebrity in her time. Movies, TV shows, magazines, and even video games, the Testarossa was everywhere, appealing to kids and adults alike. With its angular design, minimalistic lines, and signature side air intakes, this car was a poster child for aerodynamics. To be precise, the exact model MOTORFEST has put in your hands is the 1991 re-engineered version of the Testarossa, introduced as the 512TR, featuring a redesigned interior and a refined exterior to improve its already spectacular lines. It looks like you're getting the perfect stretches of road between Maui and Oahu to take the whole measure of it. This was quite a breath of fresh air and nostalgia. You're here. It's time for you to get a real taste of Ferrari's racing DNA, the drive that gave birth to the supercar bloodline. And for this racing-themed experience, I went again through my archives to select not just one, but two vehicles for you to drive, one after the other. Two machines from two different eras, for two different racing experiences.
Scuderia Ferrari in our history
The Scuderia is what started it all. To understand what fuels the creation of every Ferrari ever made, especially the supercars, the racetrack is an indispensable stop. Racing cars were Enzo Ferrari's passion and obsession. This is what led him to found the Scuderia in 1929, which has played a major role in racing history. And born from this racing division, Ferrari as a brand and factory of excellence was created a few years later. Racing is what led Ferrari to create cars, and eventually, supercars. Without his racing spirit and passion, there would be no Ferraris as we know them. Ferrari 365 GTB4 is the perfect vehicle for you to experience Ferrari racing as it felt back in the 70s, before switching for a car about 45 years its junior. For this second lap, you'll be driving the FXXK. This car is quite peculiar. Essentially a laboratory-enhanced version of La Ferrari, a supercar you'll get to meet later on. It didn't compete, per se, but this insanely powerful car was used for years as an R&D test car, allowing Ferrari to collect precious data to ultimately improve their next official racing cars, as well as the supercars. Ferrari so extreme that it can never be driven on the road, nor qualify for any kind of official competition. But it's still a racing machine through and through. More than a car, the FXXK is an experiment for its makers and an experience for its drivers. This was a peek at Ferrari's glorious racetrack heritage, a heritage in which supercars are inextricably tied up. marvelous race driver. A moment I'll be thrilled to relate and store in my archives. Now, let's get our focus back to our supercar lineup. With the GTO, the F40, and the F50, we've covered all the Ferrari supercars born in the 20th century. We'll now get to talk about and drive the more recent 21st century supercars. Well, I'll talk, you'll drive. Let's get back to Maui. The next entry in our lineup and first supercar of the 2000s is a direct tribute to the Commendatore Enzo Ferrari. You guessed it. We're letting you get your hands on the 2002 Ferrari Enzo. Starting with a few words from our guest, Michele Pignati Marano.
What was the next name? The name was...
Enzo, fourth in the supercar bloodline, was just like her sisters before her, born from a strong desire to push supercars even further. First Ferrari of the century, and with a Scuderia on top of the racing world, the Enzo was meant to strike hard and set new standards for Ferrari cars, or rather, for the whole sports car industry. With the will to design, once more, nothing less than a road-legal Formula One, faster on the track but more civilized on the road, Ferrari went all out. And my word, did they deliver. Design by Pininfarina, featuring noticeable air intakes and an F1-inspired nose, gives this car her aggressive, decisive, and impressive looks, while the engine is nothing short of engineering mastery, as you'd expect. Add to that better handling, better carbon brakes, and electronics that make the car as reliable on an everyday drive as it is savage on the racetrack. Latest 21st century tech alongside the legendary Ferrari Fury. Nothing short of a new performance benchmark. Her name alone shows how confident Ferrari was about this car. Owning one of the 399 plus one Ferrari Enzos in existence is like owning a piece of car history. Or, dare I say, like owning a piece of art. Heritage, luxury, and exclusivity. This is Enzo Ferrari's legacy. After the beautiful tribute that was the Ferrari Enzo, the world had to wait more than 10 years to encounter a new Ferrari supercar. But eventually, the next generation arrived, and once again, caught everybody off guard. I'm talking about a car named La Ferrari, the Ferrari in English, which is currently waiting for you north of Maui. I'll let you drive there, then we'll talk some more. 2013, and a new supercar emerges from the Maranello factory. In an era of astonishingly intense competition, Ferrari still treated their rivals to a true tour de force, a car that reshuffled the cards yet again. Strongest naturally aspirated Ferrari V12 to date, marking Ferrari's first steps into hybrid technology. For the first time in the company's history, petrol and electric working together full-time to deliver unprecedented levels of performance. And on top of all that, LaFerrari sports an F1 kinetic energy recovery system that constantly recaptures waste energy, stores it, and converts it into bursts of power when needed. Ferrari, some lucky people got to witness technology peak improvements at both ends of the spectrum. Higher performance, lower consumption. Glorious achievement. Also the fastest and most exhilarating road car ever made by the prancing horse, LaFerrari. This was LaFerrari, the fifth and ultimate Ferrari supercar. Or is she? See, not so long ago, we would have called it a day on this playlist, right about here. After all, LaFerrari was the last supercar ever made. The final word in Ferrari supercars. But that's not true anymore. In 2024, Ferrari shook the automotive world once again by revealing the sixth supercar to bear the prancing horse. The news of Ferrari unveiling a new supercar was already more than enough to get any car enthusiast in the world on their feet. But the reveal of her name is what made everyone lose their mind. The Ferrari F80. An exciting time to be alive, isn't it? You should head back to the Ferrari Museum. Believe me when I tell you that something brilliant is about to be set in motion.